Please join me in welcoming the Palestinian ambassador to the UK, Dr. Husam Zomlot.
In this genocide, the education sector has been a crucial target. Of course it has, because a genocide does not target the present only. It targets the future. The UN estimates that 80% of all school buildings in Gaza have been damaged or destroyed. That's the United Nations for you. Every university, every single university in Gaza has been destroyed. At least 60% of education facilities, more generally, including 13 public libraries and Gaza's central archives, containing more than 150 years of history, have been damaged or destroyed. Every single one of Gaza's 625,000 students, school students, children, has gone without an education since October. Not one child has gone to school over the last 7 months. Thousands of students have been killed, thousands. 261 teachers and 95 university professors, including Professor Al-Arair, who you have just seen his writings, his poem, If I Must Die, and many other professors have been killed, murdered. Many more have been injured. Let me remind you that such attacks on civilian infrastructure are forbidden under international law. Of course, they are forbidden under international law. Indeed, schools and hospitals are protected buildings under international law, and their targeting constitutes grave violations of Geneva Conventions. And we know that this targeting has been deliberate. And not just because of the scale of the destruction. We know this from the videos filmed by Israeli soldiers and officers themselves. This is the first time in history a war criminal is documenting their war crime in real time. The deliberate targeting of the education sector in Gaza has just one aim. To destroy any horizon, political, developmental, cultural, or economic, for our future. And to render Gaza's population without the means, to render our people without the means to develop themselves or even to develop at all. We are, after all, an extremely educated population. Here is Islam, and like Islam, you will have many Palestinians. Here is Farah, one of our pride as well, and many Palestinians in your campus here, in your university, in Cambridge, and wherever I go, in the UK, in the US, worldwide. We are an extremely, exceptionally educated society, educated nation, educated people. We have done, and we have one of the highest literacy rates in the world. We have one of the highest per capita PhD holders worldwide. We have grown up with a mantra of education, 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 from when we first opened our eyes and our parents were already imagining us in our university graduation robes for good reasons. There is a reason why education, education, education is our mantra, because in 1948, which we commemorated the Nakba only yesterday in London and all over the world, we have lost our material base. Our land was stolen, our homes were taken and destroyed, and therefore we invest heavily in our human capital. There's a collective, conscious decision about education being the backbone, the bedrock of our resistance and resilience and survival. Our national attachment to education is a direct byproduct, therefore, of the last 76 years of being denied our rights, cut adrift from the normal avenues of survival and normal means to thrive available to those who enjoy their freedom. Education has been our anchor. It has been a means of surviving, of remaining steadfast against the odds, and it is an obvious target for an occupying military. It's a very clear target for an occupying military. After all, it is far easier to subjugate an uneducated population than it is to try to deny rights to a nation of university graduates. As simple as that. And here is what I also would propose, really, for dealing with the eduside and turning this rather tragic moment into a momentum. I would propose that we should look at the Palestine Studies Center here at Cambridge. The Palestine Studies Center at Cambridge. And it's not only its opportunity for the Palestinian lecturers and students, but also to provide in-depth education for other students on Palestine, for Cambridge students and other students in the UK on Palestine. I couldn't think of a better place for such a center than the University of Cambridge. And such a center at this particular moment of time would be studying and expanding on the science and the literature surrounding Palestine, because this now has to do with international law and international legality. This has to do with the prevention and punishment of genocide. This has to do with many arenas that are of great concerns to your students. This has to do with history, and we must study and grasp history and what happened over a long period of time, 107 years. And why I say 107 years, because it all started here in this country, the Balfour Declaration. And the colonial era, and that colonial arrogance of promising our land without consulting us and turning us, the native indigenous population who have lived there for millennia. Palestine is the hub between East and West, the birthplace of Christianity. Jerusalem is holy to the three religions. And we used to live together in Palestine as Christians and Muslims and Jews. I mean, it was only in the last 76 years, thanks to the colonial arrogance. And that whole project. So this study center is not just on Palestine. It's about all of us and our history. It's about Britain and its history. And not all of the history is bright. But if we don't learn from the history, then we tend to repeat the same mistake. But such center also would offer online courses for students in Palestine, scholarships to Palestinian students, and could include the work and teaching of Palestinian scholars and faculty in Palestine, facilitating exchange programs not only for students but for faculty. And we should also look at deepening collaborations with Palestinian universities generally, but of course also in and with Gaza universities. Such collaboration could help not only exchange programs but rebuilding efforts. And we are willing, happy, ready to extend hands to link you with our universities in Quds, in Jerusalem, in Ramallah, in Nablus, in Jenin, universities in the UK, my friends. Universities everywhere, including the University of Cambridge, will play a crucial role not only in helping re-establish the education sector in Palestine, but in pushing forward understanding to lead to resolution. It is precisely the culture of questioning, of intellectual curiosity, and of moral clarity that universities everywhere pride themselves on, especially in the United Kingdom, and especially at places like Cambridge University, that will force the change so desperately needed. It has always been universities, my friends, always, that have shown a path forward, always the student movement, and the professors and the intellectual crowd that have always shown a path forward. Take your cue from the students out there in the tents. Let them teach us hope, because with hope and determination, we can accomplish everything. It's a long road. It is a very long road. Remember Nelson Mandela's long march to freedom, long road to freedom. But with your support and with the support of universities across the world, we can rebuild, we can re-educate, and we can restore a future that could promise so much to so many. Thank you.